Hey guys, welcome back to Canvas Conversations brought to you by FloCombat. We've got a great episode for you guys today featuring 3 more members of the TUF27 competition. And man, this season's really turning out to be a great one. All the fighters are very entertaining. Both fights have been great so far, and you can tell from the interviews and the previews so far that things are only going to get more interesting as the season progresses. It was really fun to talk with all these guys today. They've got great personalities and they do a really great job of promoting the season. So today we'll kick things off with Mike Trizano, who's our first TUF27 guest competing for Team Stipe. So his nickname certainly fitting the bill right now as the Lone Wolf. He was great to talk with. He's a very nice guy, but as is the case with all of these guys, they're killers inside the cage. So make no mistake about it, while they may be nice in person and all that, when they get inside that octagon or that cage, it's all business. So it's really fun to get to know these guys and to talk with them personally. So we get as much as we can from Mike, and we put him through the tough trivia ringer. So be sure to stay tuned and find out if anybody can knock Luis Pena off the leaderboard. But we'll go ahead and kick things off with Mike Trizano. All right, guys, welcome back. My first guest of the show today will be TUF27 competitor in the lightweight division. He's our first guest from Team Stipe. He's living up to his nickname, the Lone Wolf. It's Mike Trizano. Welcome, brother. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad, brother. So how did you get that nickname, the Lone Wolf?
Man, I'm a lone wolf when I'm in the cage. I got a big following, so I'm not a lone wolf when I'm outside the cage, but when I'm in there, it's just me and my opponent. So a lone wolf has got to adapt to any situation in order to survive, and that's what I do when I'm in there.
Of course. Did you come up with that nickname yourself, or did somebody give it to you?
No, I did.
I like it. I like it. Well, being on Tough is obviously a great opportunity for any fighter. So tell me about the opportunity and how it was presented to you to get on the Ultimate Fighter.
Man, I just finished a fight with Bellator and in November, and I was relaxing a little bit. I was still training and stuff, and then all of a sudden the flyer came out like they were looking for they had opened they had the open tryouts for the Ultimate Fighter, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that. And they were looking for undefeated guys, and I was kind of hesitant at first. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, blah blah blah. But then I was just like, you know what? I don't want to have any regret. I want to just do it. If I don't make it, I don't make it. And I went for the tryouts. I ended up passing all the parts in the tryouts, and they had me stay longer. And then finally, a couple weeks later, I got the call that I was going to be on, and it was surreal.
So you fought at lightweight before, but you're usually fighting at featherweight. So how did you decide, or did they decide for you on which weight class you were going to compete in?
No, I decided. I had a few teammates that had done the Ultimate Fighter in the past, and it's you have to do multiple fights in the house in a short amount of time. So to cut to 45 multiple times would have taken a toll on my body. So I wanted to be comfortable when I was in there because I was definitely going to be out of my comfort zone. So I did 155, and that's an easy weight cut. I don't even have to think about it, and yeah, that's where I felt comfortable. So I did it.
Yeah. That seems like it's a good plan and a good approach. Do you prefer fighting at 155 or 145?
They're both good. I mean, I haven't. It's not like I have a hard time making 145. I just got to approach it differently, give myself more time, but I do it the right way. I don't kill myself when I cut weight, so I feel comfortable with both weight classes. It's just I approach 145 a little different than I do 155.
Right. You talked about being a little bit out of your comfort zone or at least in a different environment. What was it like to be away from your normal support system with guys that you're training with, that you're probably your friends and whatnot, to training and living in a house with a bunch of guys that definitely probably aren't your friends?
Yeah, it was weird, but I don't have a problem like getting to know people and stuff. I'm an outgoing person, so the only out of my comfort zone kind of thing I was going to be in is that I was going to be in a house with a bunch of guys. I don't know when I'm fighting. Usually we know when we're fighting. We have the date, so like we could plan ahead. But this, it's like you had to be ready at all times. You didn't know if your name was going to get called, and it was just kind of almost stressful in a sense, but it really wasn't. I mean, I was ready to fight as soon as I got there. I had prepared, done a really good training camp before I even left, so I was ready to go.
Has it been hard for you not to talk about everything that transpired while you were there?
Absolutely. I mean, it's killing me, but hey, it makes everybody watching the show that much more exciting. Don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, for sure. Are you curious to see how they kind of do your fighter profile whenever your fight's getting ready?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the show, kind of seeing new stuff like you guys are. I mean, I was there, so parts of it I lived, but there was other parts like the Team DC training sessions and stuff like that that I wasn't there for. So it's kind of cool for me to see how they're putting everything together, and then what everyone else was doing while we were doing something else, and it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, that is a cool aspect. I didn't even think about that. So now that we're 2 episodes in, what do you think about the show so far?
Oh, the show's awesome. I'm excited moving forward, especially for you guys. I mean, every episode just gets better and better. You know, I haven't personally seen the episodes, but I know for a fact just the way everything went, just you guys are gonna be like, wow, best season to date.
Awesome. How did you pick the first two fights going before you saw them?
Uh, I mean, I thought my team was gonna win, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But look, I mean, when you get in there, anything can happen. So I mean, they were both well matched. It's just the way the cookie crumbled. That's it. So you just gotta take it one step at a time and move on.
What was your favorite thing about working with Team Stipe?
They were very personable. They cared a lot about us and our health and stuff. You know, they were making us work, but at the same time, they were making sure that we were super healthy and that we were, you know, getting everything we needed to be ready to fight. So they were helpful 100% of the time. I mean, during practice, Stipe was super cool. Like he would come up to me like 3, 4 times, be like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, how you feeling? This and that." Like he really was making sure that we were good, and that just made life that much easier.
Do you feel like you were able to grow a lot from preparing for fights under a different team?
Yeah, absolutely. I went into the Ultimate Fighter like a sponge, man. I didn't go in there with a chip on my shoulder. I went in there to just get as much knowledge from other guys and see everybody else's point of views, just so I can make my game better. You know, there's just so much out there. It would be stupid just to go in there thinking that my way is the only way. You know, I wanted to learn. I wanted to hear what everyone else thought and how everybody else approaches the game. You know, it's cool, and I definitely got a lot of good knowledge from the time I spent there.
Oh, I love it, man. That open mindedness, I feel like it has to just help you grow as a fighter exponentially.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I train one way with my team, and seeing how other guys train and prepare for fights. You know, in a sense, it's similar, but everybody has their own methods and stuff that they think works and has worked, and it's cool to kind of make like my own hybrid way of preparing for a fight, just based off of all the different things I've accumulated over my career, and I definitely think it's a positive for me.
Well, after all the filming, I saw you were out at UFC 223. How was it to get that experience in as well?
Oh, it was awesome. You know, it was good to finally get out of the house, to be honest, but be able to be a normal person again. But no, it was a cool experience. Definitely a great event, and yeah, and hopefully I can be fighting in an event like that one day.
Speaking of that night, I saw you were wearing that black cowboy hat looking all spiffy, man. You don't see a lot of cowboy hats in Brooklyn, New York. Were you feeling a little bit out of place there?
Not at all. You know, I am who I am. You know, my whole family's like that. I've always been like that. You know, it's just my kind of style. You know, I don't get. You don't have to be from the Midwest to be wearing cowboy hats and stuff. You know, it's what I like to do, and it's unique, and it is what it is. I mean, people can look at me and be like, "Oh, why is he wearing a cowboy?" Whatever. Their opinions don't matter. It's me. It's my life. You know.
Of course. Where are you originally from?
I was born in New York, but I was raised in New Jersey. So I'm like 20 minutes from the city.
Okay. So where
Yeah,
did you
North
pick
Jersey.
up that style from?
My family, man. Everybody, we're big outdoorsmen. We go hunting all the time, every year, you know. So I'm big into the outdoors, stuff like that. So that's what I do.
Awesome, man. So what was it like? You talked about a little bit about being kind of stuck in that house and cooped up a little bit, being an outdoorsman. What was that like? Not being able to get out, not being able to communicate with your family. Was that hard throughout the entire time you were there too?
I mean, it was hard not being able to talk to anybody outside, like family, my girlfriend, you know, everybody that really supports me. Like, if I was able to make like a call like for just 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
call my girlfriend, tell her how I'm doing, then call my family. That's it. I would have been good. I could have stayed there longer, but it was. We had a huge backyard, so I mean, I was outside as much as I could, and but otherwise, I mean, it was hard, but it is what it is. Got to do what you got to do.
Of course, absolutely. Well, Mike, we've covered about as much as we can around the show, but you're the fourth fighter that the TUF27 cast that I've interviewed, and I've been doing a bit of trivia battling with some of these guys. So if you're up for it, I'll put 30 seconds on the clock. I'll ask you some questions, try and hammer out as many as you can, as quick as you can. Are you up for it?
Go for it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Let me get this little timer started, and then we'll get it. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All righty. What year was the UFC founded?
1995.
Who won Ultimate Fighter Season 1 at light heavyweight?
Oh, that was pretty sure was Forrest Griffin.
Name 2 WWE superstars that have also fought in the UFC.
Brock Lesnar and what's his name? I'm blanking. He has a fight lined up.
Time. I'll give it to you if you can answer that one, though.
Oh, man. CM Punk.
Yep, CM Punk. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So the first one was 1993. You're right. It's Forrest Griffin. And then you got the CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. Man, so I think you're tied for... I'm sorry to say it, but I think you're tied for last place with Joe. In first place is Luis Pena.
What it is.
Yeah, Luis Pena's in first place with this. Yeah, no big deal, right?
Yeah, no, it is what it is.
Awesome, brother. Well, you still did pretty good. It's a short amount of time to get all those questions in. No big deal. All right, Mike. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, man. Before I let you go, I know sponsor is a big part of what you do. So if you'd like to thank anybody or shout anybody out, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd like to first thank my my girlfriend for always supporting me. You know, she really is like the behind the scenes person who really helps me push and makes everything less stressful. I want to thank my family for always supporting me. They're always behind me 100%, going to all my fights. And I want to thank my team, Team Tiger Showmans. We're the best team in the world, and we're going to be taking over real soon.
Awesome, brother. So before I let you go, I guess one last question. What does your girlfriend think about you making it on the show? Does she love this?
Oh, yeah, she loves it. She's 100% behind me. Honestly, I was hesitant about doing the show at first, and she kind of motivated me and pushed me to just go do it. So can't thank her enough.
Awesome, brother. Well, Mike, again, I appreciate your time so much, man. We can't wait to see how it all plays out for you, sir.
Yeah, you guys are going to enjoy it.
Awesome. Take care, brother. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Like I said, Mike's a really nice guy. It was fun to speak with him and get to know him. I really liked what he said about the cowboy hat and just kind of owning his style and just being really confident in his own skin. I think that that's something we all appreciate in somebody. So I'm really excited to see what turns out for him as the season progresses. So moving on, our next guest will be Brad Katona. Brad will be moving forward into the second round of the competition. If you were watching last night, he picked up win number 2 for Team DC and takes one step closer himself to getting that UFC contract. So I really enjoyed talking with Brad. He's got a very unique perspective on things, and he takes a really logical approach to his fight game. So that seemed to do him very well thus far. And he recently made a move to SBG Ireland as well, which also seems to be a very good move for him, considering he's now under 2017 Coach of the Year, John Kavanagh. So all these things have seemed to really benefit his game, and it was fun to catch up with him after this win at just a really cool time where it's all kind of culminating for him, and he's just really going through it. So we'll talk to Brad Katona, and then I'll speak with you guys afterwards.
All right, guys, our next guest of the day is another TUF contestant, but from Team DC. He's in the featherweight division. If you guys tuned in last night, you saw him score a unanimous decision victory in the second episode of the season. He's been nicknamed Superman by his TUF coach, Daniel Cormier. He is Brad Katona. Brad, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So would you consider your new nickname Superman now?
There's a whole lot worse nicknames they could have given me. So Superman sounds pretty good. Just even people shoot me messages on social media being like, "Hey, there's Superman." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just if it catches on, it catches on, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I like it too, man. I think it suits you well, especially with the glasses, the background that you have. I think it suits you really well.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Only if I was a journalist or something, it would be a little bit better. But it seems to fit me pretty well. So it's cool. Like I said, there's a whole lot worse things they could have given me.
Of course. So you're on Tough Talk last night. You're talking to me now, and it was really tough to get this scheduled with some of the other obligations and things you got going on. So is it kind of tough to get this reaction or this big reaction, I guess? Is this different, or do you enjoy this?
I'm definitely enjoying it. It's quite the ride, and it's all very, very exciting. There's just being like yesterday, being able to talk to Michael Bisping. Like, when else in my life would I actually be able to have a conversation with him? So it's all happening very fast, and it's very exciting, and I'm just thankful for all the opportunities that I've been given. I'm not used to handling this many interviews, but I'll get better as time goes.
Awesome. So you talk about kind of being tickled by talking to Bisping last night, but didn't being around DC and all those guys kind of prepare you for something like that?
It does. Being around those guys, it does kind of prepare you, but in the moment, it all just felt kind of normal. It's hard to describe it, but it's all of a sudden, I think it was like the second day where I was like, it doesn't really feel weird being coached by DC and Cain Velasquez, two absolute killers. It just felt normal for whatever reason. Maybe it's just being in the zone, but now I can kind of enjoy, because everything's done at this point. We'll see how the episodes play out, but when you're in that grinder of the tournament, everything to me just felt same old. Like, it was exciting, but you go to practice and you're there to train, so you're not really thinking about who's running it.
Right. On the show, you spoke about making the move to SBG Ireland for Coach Kavanagh. How much do you feel that move benefited you throughout the TUF experience?
I think it definitely benefited me. I've learned so much since coming here that it really helped step my game up to that next level. And just there was a lot of things I used in those in my fights that I learned here, and it's just making that refinement and training with some of the best. So if you're training with some of the best on a daily basis, competing against them in the cage isn't much different. So, it's just a nice logical progression. It's like, okay, all of a sudden, make that move, start training with a bunch of killers as the competition's starting to rise. So, it's definitely a good move.
What was it like preparing with DC for the fights that you had there?
He was a good coach. He really took that role on. Probably coming from a strong wrestling base, he's been around great coaches. So you kind of learn being around great coaches how to coach. Not always is a good fighter a good coach, but he really was, and having him and Cain there, they were fully invested. So it was nice having coaches who actually cared, and then on top of that, we also had the whole coaching staff of AKA. So it was just essentially you're training with a world-class gym at that point. You have all the world-class coaching. So, it was a very good team to be on.
Beautiful. Your girlfriend, Katie Saul, who's also a fighter, made a cameo appearance on the show last night. What do what do you think? Does being in a relationship with another fighter that has the same passion as yourself, does that make your pursuit for the UFC that much easier?
You know, really having somebody behind you makes the pursuit to the UFC easier. You know, I know she's fully behind me and I'm fully behind her, and we're kind of pushing each other. You know, I think it makes it pretty cool to one day think that, okay, we could be at a UFC press conference together because we both fought on a card, you know, one day. It makes that a pretty cool dream to have. And, you know, there's a lot of benefits that you know, it's difficult like any relationship has, you know, those difficulties, but for the most part, it's very good. And, you know, we're there to pick each other up on the bad days, and there to, you know, continue pushing each other on the good days. So, you know, it's definitely exciting to be in that unique relationship.
Man, I love that answer. So you're saying that it's just awesome to have her support no matter what, fighter or not, regardless. You just love having her
Regardless,
support. Yeah.
absolutely. Same thing with my family. You know, I've had nothing but, you know, a lot of great support throughout my career. And you know, it makes it easy because I know at the end of the day, no matter the result, you know, there's not added pressure. You know, they're there to support me no matter the result. They're going to love me if I win or lose. You know, the people who matter are going to be there no matter what. So, you know, that's a very important thing to realize. And it kind of frees you to go out there and just perform to the best of your abilities and not be weighed down by, you know, what you think other people are going to be thinking. So at the end of the day, the ones who can't will be there no matter what.
I saw you guys were both featured in that McGregor Fast video. That's a pretty cool thing to do, I feel like. Did you enjoy that?
Oh man, visiting Portugal and taking part in Conor McGregor's Fast program was a very cool experience. You know, just thinking, you know, how much I've been able to travel since moving to Dublin in November. It's just been one great opportunity after another, and it's just been a wild ride. But I learned a lot out there, and just being able to implement that program for the future years. You know, it's not just about one fight camp or two fight camps or a year. It's about it builds on itself over your entire career. So it's something that's I'm going to be using 5 years down the line.
Man, this SBG move seems like it's been instrumental for you. When did you finally decide that you wanted to make that move? And did Katie? How did the situation with Katie following you? How did that all work out as well?
You know, we kind of pushed each other to make that move. We were both at a point in our career where, you know, we had to fully invest or get out. You know, to me, I didn't want to make a move right after a loss. I want to be ahead of that if I could. You know, not guaranteeing that making this move is going to prevent any losses in the future, but really it's about continuing just improving as fast as the competition is rising, and the competition's always going to rise. So, you know, it was very important to make that move preemptively and be ahead of that. And really, when we first visited SBG in 2016, we came out here for a month just to give it a shot, and we fell in love with the gym, we fell in love with the coaches, we fell in love with the training partners, and it was just at that point there was no reason to go anywhere else. It was like, okay, we found, you know, where we want to make our new home, so let's get it planned together and make that move a reality.
Amazing. It seems like I said, it's gone well for you, sir. So Brad, a smart guy like yourself, a guy who has an engineering degree, why choose fighting for a career?
Well, it's pretty easy. It's just what I love. You know, it's you know, I'm fortunate right now that it can potentially be my career. You know, not many people are able to pursue their number one passion as a job. You know, and really with the opportunity of being on the Ultimate Fighter, hopefully that's going to just work out. And you know, it's just I was involved with martial arts since I was very young, 5 years old, starting karate, and it's just kind of snowballed over the years, and now it's reaching a point where I'm in a very, very unique position where, you know, my passion and is just aligning with reality, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing to be able to continue to pursue my dream, really.
On the show, you talked about your appreciation for movement and how that kind of opened up your mind to use your intelligence. And obviously, being an engineer, you're a very smart guy. So, do you feel like your intelligence has given you an advantage in this sport?
You know, I think I look at problems very analytically, and that's what gives me an advantage. I'm not an overly emotional person, and in a fight, you know, there's some fighters who can use their emotions to their advantage, but then there's other times where it starts clouding their judgment, and they get hung up on trying to brute force the way out of anything. Either they're losing the stand up and they're failing to make the move to the ground, or whatever the case is. But you know, I think I'm able to be in the moment under all the stress, being able to still think analytically, and being able to pick apart my opponents is definitely a huge strength. And um, outside the fights as well, just being able to make my training more efficient, trying to squeeze the most out of it. You know, we have almost everybody has the same amount of time and energy they can put into training, but if you can squeeze that little bit more, you know, you can kind of stay ahead of the curve. So, you know, it helps twofold. One, in the fight itself, and then outside of it as well, just making sure everything's as efficient as possible.
Mm. You also mentioned on the show that ahead of the matchup with Kyler that you thought he was the more well-rounded fighter. So I'm curious, what's your mindset going into a fight where you believe the guy you're fighting is, you know, more well-rounded? How do you convince yourself you're the better fighter?
You know, well, I wasn't going into that fight thinking he was more well-rounded than I was. I was going in there thinking that he was a well-rounded fighter. He
Mm.
has skills everywhere, and he's dangerous. So I had a lot of belief in my abilities, and at the end of the day, there's your abilities, and then there's everything outside that, the intangibles, the toughness, the heart, and I know I have that. I hope I don't need to show it too often. You know, nobody wants to be showing their heart in every fight where, you know, they're in tough moments. You know, hopefully everything just continues and goes going smoothly, and you never need to show it, but have it in your back pocket.
Mm.
Um, but I know what I bring to the table, and I trust in, you know, being able to go in there fight day and perform. And at that point, you know, there's nothing else I can do. I can go there, perform as well as I can, and at that point, it usually takes care of itself.
So what was it like to finally see that victory last night? And I mean, not real time, but played back for you and getting the reaction from friends and family. What was that like for you?
You know, so with the time difference, I wasn't able to get all of their everything until the morning here in Ireland. And you know, I turned on my phone, and all of a sudden it was blown up, and it was just very exciting. Being able to watch the video myself, uh, it's just crazy seeing yourself on TV. You
Mm.
know, I've watched The Ultimate Fighter since the first season was aired, so you know, actually seeing myself in there and seeing myself in the gym, it's just a surreal feeling, and it's you know, it almost feels unbelievable.
What does Coach Kavanaugh think about all this? Have you spoke to him about this all?
You know, he's away right now, so I haven't seen his reaction from this episode. But you know, he's been extremely supportive. He was the one who wanted me to go to Portugal to take part in the fast program and continue improving. So I think we're kind of on the same page, where you don't want to, you know, you never get too high in victory, and you never get too low in defeat. So you know, you kind of stay fairly neutral. You get little bumps of excitement and little dwells of sadness, but you know, it's still at the end of the day going into the gym and just continuing and putting in that work.
Gosh, man, you're living a dream. It just seems like one surreal moment after the next for you.
Yeah, it's been, you know, since moving here in November, it's been just a crazy ride. I came here in November, so that in itself is extremely exciting. And then all of a sudden, the chance to go to Vegas for the Ultimate Fighter trials, and then after that, making it into the show, and then coming back, it's been you know, it's just been an unbelievable experience, and I'm just very thankful for the opportunities that I've gotten.
And what does Katie think about everything? Does she love it?
Yeah, she's you know, like I said, she's behind me 100%. I'm behind her. You know, it's nice. We feed off of each other's momentum. So, you know, going into the show, She had just won her fourth professional fight, so that gave me that boost, and hopefully, my success in my first fight can slingshot her up a little bit too. So, we just push each other ahead, and that's what it's about.
Awesome, man. That is so awesome. Well, Brad, you're the fifth member of the cast that I've interviewed. And with all the guys, I've been doing a little bit of a trivia battle with them just to give them another chance to compete against each other. So if you're up for it, man, we'll do 30 seconds on the clock. I'll just ask you a couple of questions and we'll run it out. Cool.
Let's give it a shot.
You guys have all been doing pretty terrible, so don't worry about it. All right, tell me when you're ready, bro, and we'll get it.
Anytime you're ready.
What year was the UFC founded?
Oh, was it 92? 1992?
Who won The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 at light heavyweight?
That was Forrest Griffin.
What UFC Hall of Famer is known as the Iceman?
Chuck Liddell.
Max Holloway made his UFC debut against which current lightweight contender?
Who did he make his debut?
Time. I'll give it to you if you can answer that one though. Yeah, Poirier. Yep.
Poirier.
Yeah. Winner, man. All right. I think you got 4 there. Or
when was the UFC founded?
Did you say what year did you say? It was 93.
I said 92.
Oh man.
It was 93.
Yeah, it was 93. Yeah.
Pretty close.
That was really close. Yeah. I think you're tied for second to last, but Luis Peña's in the lead. He's killing you guys.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Just a bit of fun for you guys, man. Hey, Brad, I appreciate your time, man. It's been great to speak with you. I know you got a few more interviews throughout the day, so I'll let you get to it, man. Like I said, congratulations on the win. Absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Take care, my man. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Cheers. Take care.
Awesome. So there's Brad Katona, who will be moving on to the second round, and it was great to speak with him. Like I said, he's got a very unique perspective on things, a very unique outlook on things, and I think that perspective has done him well, especially the move to SBG Ireland under John Kavanagh. Seems like John Kavanagh is continuing to produce high-quality mixed martial artists down there in Dublin, and man, with every interview, I just get more and more excited to see where the season goes and how it all turns out. So moving on, our final guest of the day is Tyler Diamond. Tyler is another member of Team DC. He was picked as the number 1 seed in the featherweight division, which we haven't seen him in action yet, but keep your eyes peeled for when they do call the sky up, because he's the number 1 seed for a reason. He's a great fighter. He's got a great personality to boot. It was our first time talking today, but we enjoyed a couple laughs and stuff, and it was great to get his perspective on things, even though we can't talk about it as much as he probably would like, and he's got to keep it in. It just builds the suspense for us. So we also put him through the trivia challenge, so be sure to stay tuned to see if he can pull off knocking Luis Peña off the leaderboard. And we'll talk with you guys afterwards.
All right, guys, my final guest on the show today is another TUF27 competitor in the featherweight division. He is also from Team DC. He trains at a Team Alpha Male. He is Tyler Diamond. Tyler, what's going on, man? How you doing today, bro?
Doing great. How you doing, brother?
Not too bad, my man. So 2 episodes in, how do you like it?
I feel like they've done a great job with it so far, like as far as editing and this and that, and just plus with everyone being undefeated and there's so many good characters, like all the guys have great personalities. So I've really enjoyed the show so far. Looking at social media, the only negative things I see are from people who haven't given it a chance, but the people who have actually watched it, I feel have really enjoyed it so far. So I'm happy with it.
What did you think about those first 2 fights? Were you is it what you expected?
Yes and no. I didn't expect Gunther to get choked out in 17 seconds. I mean, that was kind of a shocker. But with the Kyler and Brad fight, I kind of knew when that fight got selected that it wasn't the best idea. Problem being, though, is had Kyler picked anyone else to fight, it wouldn't have been that great for him either. We just had such a solid team at 45, I feel. So I knew it was going to be a tough, close fight, but I had a feeling that Brad had the edge a little bit.
We saw in episode 1 that you had a moment where you felt like you were called out a bit. Was it hard to train or live in a house around a bunch of guys that are kind of looking to beat you up and get your neck, and as opposed to being at home around guys that you know and love?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't hard. It was certainly different. I think it might have been hard for some, but for someone like me who's been in weird, harsh situations at times, I guess, yeah, it was nothing. I just feel like you got to be strong-minded in that situation. And I mean, yeah, it's definitely different in terms of, on fight day, you're sitting there cooking breakfast next to the guy you're fighting, and you ask him how he slept that night and this and that. And then later on the day, you're going to fight that guy. So certainly different, but I wouldn't say it was difficult.
That is so interesting. I didn't even think about that dynamic. So
Yeah.
if you're eating alongside breakfast with them, is that awkward that morning of?
I mean, it probably can be for some if you think too much into it, but how I just thought of it was, hey, me and this guy can be cool for now, and then when we're in that octagon, things are going to change, and then once we get out of there, we're going to be returned back to normalcy again. So, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So being from Team Alpha Male, where there's obviously a plethora of guys, killers, that you train with on a daily basis, do you feel like that prepared you well for the experience of TUF?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you can get through the daily grind at my gym, you can get through it anywhere. I mean, it's tough, man. It's hard to differentiate when you're in fight camp and when you're not in fight camp because the practices are just so intense. So yeah, in terms of the training in the house, like DC did train us pretty hard, but it was nothing I'm not used to. As far as, living in the house with people that I'm fighting, like if I can get through the daily 12-week fight camp grind at Team Alpha Male, I can get through that. So, yeah, I mean, the whole situation was interesting, but definitely training on my team has prepared me well for any situation I feel I may come across.
So speaking of DC, those images that Stipe put up in the locker room that we saw on last night's episode, I can kind of get a pretty good guess of what they were blurring out there, but
Yeah.
if you could tell us, what were they doing there? What was that about?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of started it, but it was nothing. I just put like a little talk bubble on one of Stipe's pictures that said "Ma, the meatloaf" from Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And they got us back good. That was good. It was entertaining. I liked it. Yeah, they definitely dropped their pants for that picture and then pixelated it out. But yeah, it was good. It was entertaining.
Did you guys do some joking around like that with the teams back and forth?
You know what? Without spoiling anything, I don't think it really carried on much further than that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were more concerned with like having fun. Like they obviously trained hard, but they were more about like having fun, being together, go out to dinner and this and that. And I feel like DC and my team, we were more just about like focused on training hard and winning the fights. So there were some early pranks early on or whatever, but they didn't go much further than that.
What did you enjoy most about the experience while you were there?
I would say the one thing I enjoyed most was getting to know DC and his crew, how awesome they were and how much they genuinely cared about us. That was a good feeling, like coming in, I didn't know who the coaches were going to be, and I honestly didn't think they'd really give a crap about us. I thought, they were just coming there to get paid and maybe show us a couple things here and there, but overall they were coming to Vegas to party or do whatever. Like DC and his crew came and they poured their heart and soul into it, and they really cared about us. So I'd say that's what I enjoyed the most, was developing that relationship with them.
Wow. So when you found out who the coaches were, did you want Stipe or DC? Did you have a preference?
I like both of them, and I've honestly never rooted against either one, ever. But I had a slight preference toward DC at first because he's based out of San Jose. I'm in Sacramento. He's a wrestler. I come from a wrestling background, so I had a slight edge for DC. And then after evaluations, I was like dead set that I wanted to be on DC's team. Reason being was DC had an actual coaching staff around him, people that work with him on a daily basis. They all knew each other really well. Stipe brought in a bunch of random fighters from different areas, so I felt like they maybe weren't going to be as sharp and together with everything. And I could kind of tell in their evaluation, too. It just didn't seem as structured as something that DC ran. And this doesn't really matter, but this pissed me off. John Vellante farted in the hallway, and that shit pissed me off. And I'm like, man, if I got to deal with this for the next 6 weeks, I'm not going to be happy. This guy farting in my face like that. So I was definitely happy to be on DC's team because John Vellante was one of my little arch rivals during that show a little bit.
Was there any other stuff, any other situations like that you can share with us that were kind of candid, that were just like, what the hell?
Oh, for sure. Like, me and John had an interesting relationship. Like, we were messing around with each other, but at times I got a little serious, you know? Like, he just, because I was the number one pick, I kind of had a target on my back. He just always messed with me about, you know, Tyler, who do you want to fight, this and that. You know, called me a lay and prayer, just said all I do is lay and pray, and I don't know how to throw hands. So I was just like, yeah, you're right, John. I don't. I really don't. I don't even know why I got picked number one. I fooled everyone, you know, and just, I mean, there's a lot of banter back and forth. Hopefully they show some of it because I think some of it's really entertaining. But yeah, me and John Vellante, man, I got an album full of videos to roast him if things do pop up on the show because it's fun messing with him.
Oh man, that's great. I can't wait to see it. So is it hard for you not to talk with friends and family about your experiences on the show?
No, not necessarily actually, because you know, I feel like if I told them exactly what went down, they wouldn't watch it. They'd be like, "Oh, well, I already know that this happened or whatever, so I don't need to watch it." But and it just ruins the element of surprise. You know, it's kind of cool me watching an episode and knowing exactly what's going to happen, and everyone else around me not knowing. So yeah, it's not too hard. The people who have been like getting at me and wanting to know exactly what's happened, that's kind of faded because I've stood my ground and been like, no, I can't tell you. You just got to watch the show. So that's good.
So is it weird seeing yourself on TV, or do you enjoy it?
Kind of mixed. I enjoy it. I do like watch myself on TV. It's pretty cool. I hate hearing myself talk though.
Yeah, me too. I hate it.
I think that everyone hates it, but I just feel like I particularly have a weird sounding voice. I mean, I don't know. I kind of cringe looking at myself and hearing myself talk, but
same way, same exact way, brother.
Yeah, I think everyone has that naturally, but the more I see myself talk and this and that, I'll get over it.
Well, since we can't talk too much about what went down while you were there, let's talk a little bit about like your personal life. I see on your Instagram you got I think it's called the brand fan. It's like a story that you have.
Fans.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. That's your brother, right?
Yes. So that is my autistic brother who is a year and 12 days younger than me. And dude, he has a personality, man. He is hilarious. He's one of the funniest kids I know. He don't even try and be funny half the time. It's just the shit he says. And yeah, dude, I just love messing with him. He's so easy to scare and mess with, and it's just the way he reacts is so funny. Everyone on my team, Favor, Clay Guida, Chad, Cody, and just everyone else who you know you may not know, but just a lot of good guys on my team that I'm friends with, absolutely love those videos. I mean, they're just pure comic gold, you know.
They are. They're hilarious.
Anyone gets the chance, go ahead and go through and watch that. And it might be even funnier if you knew my brother, I guess, but I think they're funny. I think they're funny whether you know them or not.
Yeah, I don't know your brother at all, and this is our first time speaking, and they're hilarious videos. You could easily put together a compilation of all those scares. They're hilarious.
Yeah, you know, I am starting a YouTube channel soon, and I think I will put all those together at some point.
Yeah, you got it. I like when he was running from you in the truck, too. That was hilarious.
Just real quick story about that. Yeah, like I was getting ready to leave the property, and he was weed eating, and I noticed when he was getting ready to walked across the driveway and I was going toward him, he like kind of scurried, like kind of acted almost as if I might hit him. So I'm like, that's kind of funny. So I back up and I go, no, go to the other side. And then as he's walking, I get my phone out and he's all leery and I kind of punch it a little bit and he takes off sprinting. And then I got him to go to the other side again. And it was perfect.
That is awesome. So what does he think about you going through all this? Does he enjoy watching you on TV and all that?
Yeah, he's pumped. My brother's always been a big fight fan. And, yeah, he's super pumped that I'm on The Ultimate Fighter. He might not show it like all the time to everyone, but you can just kind of tell he's proud. So it's awesome to see.
That area that you guys live in, that's a really nice area too. Like it seems like really opened up and kind of foresty looking. Where is that?
That's my property. We got 11 acres, which to some people is a lot. To me, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I want to own thousands of acres if I can, but, or at least have access to it. But yeah, I love my property, man. It's like the most beautiful place on earth to me in Oroville, California. Like, I love where we're located. I think it's a mecca for outdoor activities, which is totally me. Anything outdoors, I'm in on. So, yeah, I absolutely love it, man.
There was a lot of outdoorsmen on this season, I feel like. Was it hard for you guys? Did you kind of band together talking about some of your experiences and stuff in the outdoors to kind of get through that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing to talk about. I mean, we're all a little bit different in that aspect too. I would say that me and Ricky Steele were pretty similar in terms of like what we are interested in hunting and fishing and this and that. And Bryce Mitchell, he is a hunter and kind of a country boy, but he's more of like more of an Okie kind of. He hunts squirrels. Mm-hmm. He's like all about like living off the grid with solar panels and putting solar panels on his car and like weird stuff like that. Like, so very interesting personality dynamics. Like we're all different, but at the end of the day, we all love the outdoors and we love, hunting and fishing. And same thing with Mike Trizano. So we all kind of had that in common and we're able to talk about that because we all miss that a lot.
Yes, I've only spoken to about 6 of you guys now, but each one of you guys has an awesome personality, so it's been making this season really entertaining.
Yeah, they certainly did a good job. I mean, not only were we all undefeated, obviously, to make the qualifications for the show, but yeah, everyone had a great personality. Like, everyone was so much different. It brought a lot of different dynamics to the show, and I feel made for great TV.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, I know you're a natural competitor, man, and like I said, you're the 6th guy I've talked to from the cast, and I've been doing a bit of trivia with all of you guys just to give you guys one more chance to compete against each other. So if you're up for it, yeah, you're in? We'll do 30 seconds. We'll do 30 seconds. I'll put 30 seconds on the clock. I'll ask you as many questions as you can answer in that 30 seconds, and hopefully by the end of this whole season, we'll be able to crown the Tough Trivia champ.
I'm not too confident on this, but I'll give it a go.
You're like everybody else that has done this. They're like, except for Luis, he felt confident going in.
Oh, he's confident in everything.
Let me know when you're ready, and I'll fire away.
I'm ready.
All right. What year was the UFC founded?
1993.
Who won The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 at light heavyweight?
Ooh. I don't know.
Name 2 WWE stars that also fought in the UFC.
Frank Shamrock or Ken Shamrock.
One more.
I don't know the other one.
Okay. Which UFC Hall of Famer is known as the Iceman?
Oh, Chuck Liddell.
Boom, time. So yeah, I didn't even think about, honestly, until now, I didn't even think about Ken Shamrock fight, being a WWE guy, but there was also CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, and I guess arguably Ronda Rousey. So,
and those were actually really easy ones. I don't know how I thought of the hardest one.
I think when you got the timer on you and you feel like you got to go fast, it kind of muddles the brain a little bit.
For sure.
Well, brother, I appreciate your time, man. I know you probably got some stuff to get to, a lot of training and whatnot, so I'll let you get to it. Before I let you go, man, I know sponsors are a big part of what you do, so if you'd like to thank anybody or shout anybody out, feel free.
You know what? I haven't gotten sponsored calendar year, but to give a shout out, I'll just have to give a shout out to my hometown, Oroville, California, and just everyone that helps and supports me. I got to give a shout out to my girlfriend, my family, like just all the love and support I've gotten from this whole thing. And from the beginning, really, it's been incredible, and I'm very lucky, blessed to just have as much support as I have.
I love it, man. Tyler, thanks again, brother. We can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out for you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
All right, guys, there you have it. Tyler Diamond, and another great interview. It was fun to talk with him. I think that stuff about his brother is hilarious, so be sure to check his Instagram out. He's also got some cool shirts on there that I'm sure he'll want you to check out too. I thought those were pretty neat. Interesting that he doesn't have sponsors in the last calendar year. I thought that was nuts. I didn't say anything to him live, but I thought that was really interesting. I'm sure he's going to pick up a lot of sponsors now that he's on TUF, though, so that'll be great for him. Guys, I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate the fighters for stopping by. And if you guys have any feedback for us, please reach out to us, send us a note. And for all your MMA needs, be sure to check out FloCombat.com. Give them a like on all social medias. And if you want to follow Canvas Conversations, we're also all over social media. And you'll be able to find our cast basically wherever you can listen to stuff. So we'll see you guys next week. And again, we appreciate you listening.